Do you think you're free? Do you think you have control over your life, your decisions, your very future? What if I told you you're just a pawn in a game as old as time itself? A game where the pieces are men and women, but it's the women who truly hold the power. Today, we delve into the forbidden teachings of Plato, one of the greatest philosophers of all time. But be warned, this is no lighthearted discussion. Plato reveals a reality so brutal, so stark, that it will shatter your illusions and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, desire, and control. So brace yourself, because once you hear these truths, there's no going back. You can't unhear what you're about to hear. Plato's philosophy is like a double-edged sword. On one side, it cuts through the illusions of the physical world, showing us the way to true knowledge and wisdom. But turn it over and it is a harsh mirror, reflecting the darkest depths of human desire and the manipulative games we play. You see, according to Plato, the world we perceive with our senses is nothing but a shadow of the real world, a world of forms and ideas. True knowledge comes not from what we see and hear, but from within ourselves. He believed that within each of us lies an eternal, unchanging soul that can access the realm of the forms through reason and contemplation. But let's shift our focus to the other side of Plato's philosophy. The philosopher was well aware of the darker aspects of human nature, the desires and instincts that can lead us astray. And nowhere is this more apparent than in his discussion of female nature. In Plato's view, women are like the sirens of the ancient Greek myths, beautiful and alluring, yet dangerous and deceptive. They possess a certain charm and allure that can easily captivate and ensnare the hearts of men. But it's a trap, a snare laid out by the wiles of the goddess Aphrodite. According to Plato, women weaponize their beauty and sexuality to manipulate men, using it as a tool to gain power and control. Let's take a closer look at Plato's Allegory of the Cave. Imagine a group of people who have lived their entire lives chained up in a cave, facing a blank wall. All they've ever seen are the shadows cast by objects behind them. When one of the prisoners breaks free and emerges into the outside world, he's initially blinded by the bright light and struggles to understand the true nature of reality. But as his eyes adjust, he begins to see the real world and its beauty. He returns to the cave to share his newfound knowledge with the others, but they don't believe him. In fact, they mock and scorn him for his claims, preferring to remain in their comfortable ignorance. Now, what does this allegory have to do with women and their supposed manipulative nature? Well, Plato suggests that many men are like those prisoners chained in the cave. They're trapped by their own desires and illusions, unable to see the true nature of reality. Women, with their allure and charm, are like the flickering shadows on the cave wall. They capture the attention of these men, who mistake their beauty for something more, something deeper. These men, enslaved by their own lust and longing, fail to see that they're being manipulated by the very nature of women. But why would Plato make such a harsh statement about women? Was he simply a misogynist who hated women? Not at all. In fact, he had great respect for certain women, particularly those who, like him, sought wisdom and enlightenment. However, he also recognized the potential danger they faced in a world dominated by male desire. According to Plato, the greatest threat to a woman's well-being is not external, but internal. It comes from within the very nature of her being. To understand this, we must delve into another of his works, the Symposium. The Symposium is essentially a dialogue about love, desire, and beauty. During the course of the conversation, the characters discuss various aspects of love, including its power to elevate the soul and its potential to corrupt the body and mind. Plato uses the metaphor of a charioteer to describe the human soul. The charioteer represents reason and control, while the two horses symbolize our base desires. One horse is black, representing our lower, more destructive instincts, while the other is white, symbolizing our higher aspirations. In Plato's view, the ideal man is one who can keep his horses under control, using reason to guide them towards virtue and wisdom. However, things get complicated when the goddess Aphrodite enters the picture. She stirs up desire in the hearts of the men present, causing their horses to become unruly. Reason takes the back seat as men are consumed by lust and passion. This loss of control leads to all sorts of complications and entanglements, ultimately resulting in a state of chaos and confusion. This is where women come in. According to Plato, women are like Aphrodite, the embodiment of desire. Their presence can either elevate or destroy a man, depending on his ability to control his own horses. In other words, women themselves are not inherently good or evil. Rather, they act as catalysts, revealing the weaknesses and flaws that already exist within men. In the Republic, Plato goes even further, suggesting that women should be educated and trained in the same way as men to be philosophers, rulers, and warriors. He believed that the traditional roles assigned to women were a product of societal convention rather than natural law. According to Plato, restricting women to domestic life and childbearing was not only unjust, but also detrimental to the overall health of the state. He argued that by denying women the opportunity to develop their full potential, society was losing out on a vast pool of talent and intelligence. Plato's views on women's education were radical for his time, but they also contained a deeper truth. By denying women the freedom to explore the world and pursue their own interests, men were inadvertently creating a sense of resentment and inequality. Think about it. If men are constantly trying to control and dominate women, while at the same time denying them the tools and knowledge necessary to defend themselves, what kind of bitterness and anger might that breed? Plato recognized that true freedom and equality could only be achieved when both men and women were able to make their own choices and pursue their own goals without fear of oppression or manipulation. In Phaedrus, Plato explores the nature of love and desire, using the story of the pursuit of the winged Eros by the gods Zeus and Pan. According to the myth, Zeus, the king of the gods, was once struck by a thunderbolt while flying his chariot across the sky. The bolt shattered his rear end, causing him to fall to earth in the form of a winged baby. Pan, the god of the wild and shepherds, then took pity on the infant Zeus and suckled him with his goat's milk. As a result, Zeus bestowed Pan with wings and immortality, making him the messenger of the gods. But what does this myth have to do with women and their supposed manipulative nature? Well, Plato uses it to explore the origins of desire and the ways in which it can both elevate and corrupt us. According to Plato, desire is a fundamental aspect of human nature. It's the driving force behind our actions and the source of our creativity and innovation. However, desire can also lead us astray, causing us to act irrationally and even destructively. The myth of Eros, Zeus, and Pan illustrates this perfectly. Desire, represented by Eros, has the potential to be a powerful and transformative force, as seen in the elevation of Pan to godhood. But desire can also be destructive, as seen in the suffering of Zeus when he was struck by the thunderbolt. For Plato, the key to harnessing the power of desire and avoiding its pitfalls lay in moderation and self-control. By understanding the nature of desire and its effects on our behavior, we can learn to use it to our advantage without falling prey to its darker aspects. And where do women fit into this equation? In Plato's view, women, like all humans, are driven by desire. However, their role in society and the expectations placed upon them often limit their ability to explore and express their desires freely. This creates a sense of frustration and resentment that can lead to manipulation and deception. For example, consider the pressure women face to conform to societal norms of beauty and behavior. In a world where their worth is often judged by their appearance and domestic skills, women may feel compelled to hide their true selves in order to meet the expectations of others. This suppression of their desires can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and powerlessness, which they may then try to compensate for through manipulation or deception. Imagine a woman who feels trapped by the limitations placed on her by society. She may find herself drawn to older, more powerful men who seem to offer her a way out of her current situation. However, as Plato pointed out, these men are often motivated by their own base desires and have little regard for the woman's true happiness or well-being. The woman may initially believe that she's found a way to advance her own interests, but in the long run, she discovers that she's merely a pawn in the man's game. This realization can be a painful and disillusioning experience, leaving her feeling betrayed and manipulated. This is the harsh reality that Plato reveals. The world we live in is not always what it seems. Desire, whether it's our own or that of others, can be a powerful motivator, but it can also be a dangerous game. And in the battle between men and women, it's not always clear who's winning. So remember, brothers, be wary of the siren's call of feminine beauty, for it can lead you to the rocks of emotional ruin. Only by understanding the depths of human desire and the illusions we create to escape it, can you hope to navigate the treacherous waters of love and desire. If you agree with Plato's philosophy or have your own thoughts on the matter, please comment below. Your voice matters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. And if you're still hungry for more, check out these related videos for more philosophical awesomeness. See you next time.